Listen closely, this is not just another video. Something powerful is happening, and if you're watching this right now, it's not by accident. God Himself brought you here. Because at this very moment, a shift is taking place in the spiritual realm, and you are at the center of it. Have you ever felt a force pulling you towards something greater? Something you couldn't explain, yet deep inside you knew it was real? That feeling wasn't random. It was divine. Because right now, God wants to dwell in you. Not beside you, not around you, within you. And once that happens, nothing in your life will ever be the same. Before we continue, I want you to take a moment to activate this message. Comment "I am chosen" below. This is more than just words. It's a declaration, a spiritual alignment. When you speak it, you claim it. And now let's begin. Have you ever felt invisible? Like no matter what you do, you're constantly overlooked, misunderstood, or struggling to find your place. The weight of rejection, disappointment, and unanswered prayers, it can feel suffocating, as if you're stuck in a cycle you can't break. But what if I told you that every pain, every delay, every struggle you faced was never a punishment, but a preparation? That the reason things have felt so heavy is because you were never meant for an ordinary life? That God has been refining you, setting you apart, because you are chosen for something far greater? This is not just motivation. This is a spiritual awakening. God is not just calling you, He is commanding His presence to dwell inside you. The moment you surrender to this divine call, your life will shift in ways you never imagined. Doors that were locked will open. Chains that held you back will break. And you will step into a power that no one can deny. But before that happens, you must understand what is unfolding. Because what's coming next will change everything. And when you hear it, you'll know that this message was meant for you. Something inside of you has been shifting. You felt it in the quiet moments, in the restless nights, in the way your heart longs for something more. You may not have been able to put it into words, but deep down, you know that you are changing. This is not just a phase. This is a divine transformation, a sacred awakening that will redefine your entire existence. Think about it. When a seed is planted, it spends time buried in darkness before it breaks through the soil and reaches the light. Right now, you may feel like you've been in a dark place, unseen, unnoticed. But that's because God has been growing something inside of you. Your time of isolation wasn't rejection, it was preparation. And now you are about to break through. You are not being improved. You are being reborn. The struggles you've faced, the pain you've endured, they were all part of this transformation. God does not simply repair the broken, He creates something entirely new. That is why people around you may not understand what's happening. They are still looking at who you were, while God is revealing who you are becoming. Think of the butterfly. It does not simply grow wings, it completely dissolves before becoming something unrecognizable. That's exactly what's happening inside of you right now. Your old self is fading, your past limitations are crumbling, and a new, empowered version of you is emerging. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine shift, and you are at the center of it. But transformation is just the beginning. Because when God moves into your life, He does not just bring change, He brings authority. He is not asking for permission to enter. He is commanding His presence to dwell in you. And that is exactly what we're about to uncover next. God is not making a suggestion. He is not waiting for you to feel ready. He is commanding His presence to dwell in you. This is not a gentle invitation. It is a divine decree. And when God speaks, nothing remains the same. You are not just being called, you are being activated into something greater. Have you ever felt an unshakable pull, like something deep inside is pushing you toward a destiny you can't quite grasp? That's not your imagination. That is God stirring your spirit. You were created for more than a life of survival. You were created to walk in divine power. And now that power is knocking at the doors of your heart, waiting for your surrender. Think of Moses. He never sought leadership, God called him. David never asked to be king, God anointed him. Esther never planned to change history, God positioned her for such a time as this. And now God is calling you. You may feel unqualified. You may feel unprepared. But here's the truth, God does not choose the ready, He makes ready the chosen. If He is commanding His presence to dwell in you, it means He has already placed within you everything you need to fulfill your divine purpose. The enemy will try to make you doubt. He will whisper that you're not worthy, that you're not capable, that you're not strong enough. But let me tell you something, if the enemy is fighting you this hard, it means God has placed something powerful inside of you. The struggles you've faced were not proof of your weakness, they were proof of your potential. The fact that you are still standing, still seeking, still believing, that is your confirmation. You are chosen. But here's where it gets even deeper. When God places His presence inside of you, you don't just carry His authority, you become a vessel of His power. People around you will begin to notice. Your words will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres. And those who once doubted you, they will have no choice but to witness what God is about to do in your life. And that is exactly what we are about to uncover next. Why have you faced so many battles? Why has your journey been filled with obstacles, rejection, and moments of unbearable pain? The answer is simple. You are being prepared for something far greater than you can see right now. Every struggle, every hardship, every season of silence was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to shape you into a vessel that can carry divine power. Look at Joseph. Betrayed by his own family, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused and locked in prison. But what the enemy meant for his downfall, God used for his elevation. Those very struggles positioned him to step into his divine calling. And just like Joseph, your struggles are not a sign of failure, they are proof of your preparation. You are not forgotten. You are being refined for something extraordinary. Think back to the times when you wanted to give up. The moments where you felt unseen, unappreciated, unworthy. Yet here you are, still standing. That wasn't just your own strength keeping you going. That was God, carrying you through battles you didn't even realize you were winning. Because the truth is, if the enemy could have destroyed you, he would have. The fact that you are still here means that something powerful is about to be revealed in your life. And here's what many people don't realize. The closer you are to your breakthrough, the more intense the battle becomes. Why? Because the enemy sees what's coming. He knows that once you step into your divine authority, you will be unstoppable. That is why the attacks have been relentless. That is why people have tried to discourage you. That is why doors have closed. Not because you were being punished, but because God was positioning you for a greater door, a higher calling, a destiny that only the chosen can walk into. The pain you've endured was not in vain. It was the fire that purified you, the storm that strengthened you, the training ground for your next season. And now you are stepping into a new reality, one where your past struggles become your testimony, your trials become your strength, and your story becomes undeniable proof of God's power. But here's the thing, when God brings you out, He doesn't just restore you, He empowers you. And that's what we are about to uncover next. Something powerful happens when God enters your life. Your entire being is filled with divine strength. The insecurities that once held you back begin to fade. The fears that used to paralyze you lose their grip. You no longer second-guess yourself because you are walking in a power that is not your own. This is what happens when God dwells in you. You become a living manifestation of His authority. Think about David. He was just a shepherd boy, overlooked, underestimated, forgotten. Yet, when the Spirit of God came upon him, he defeated giants. He walked into battle with nothing but faith, and his presence alone shifted the course of history. That same power, the same anointing that turned ordinary men into kings, prophets, and world changers, is now moving through you. Do you realize what that means? It means that nothing and no one can stop what God has set in motion in your life. And here's the thing, people will begin to notice the shift in you. They won't be able to explain it, but they will feel it. The way you carry yourself will change. The way you speak will carry weight. The things that used to intimidate you will now bow before you. This is what happens when you step into divine empowerment. You don't just survive, you walk in victory. Opportunities that once seemed impossible will suddenly become reality. Doors that others struggled to open will swing wide for you. Why? Because when God's presence dwells in you, favor follows you. You no longer have to chase after blessings. They begin to chase after you. You no longer strive, you move in divine flow. But here's what you need to understand. This transformation is not just for you. God does not empower you so you can keep this to yourself. He empowers you to lead, to influence, to impact lives. And this is where your journey takes on a whole new meaning. Because the people who once doubted you, the ones who said you would never rise, they are about to witness something undeniable. And that's exactly what we're about to uncover next. There will come a moment when even those who doubted you, those who mocked you, those who overlooked you, will have no choice but to acknowledge what God has done in your life. They may not have believed in you before, but they will not be able to deny the transformation they see now. Because when God elevates someone, he does it in a way that no one can ignore. Think about Joseph. His own brothers betrayed him, threw him into a pit, and sold him as a slave. They thought they had buried his destiny. But what they didn't realize was that they were only pushing him closer to his calling. Years later, those same brothers stood before Joseph, now the ruler of Egypt, desperate for help, and they didn't even recognize him. Why? Because when God elevates you, you don't just rise, you become unrecognizable. And the same will happen for you. The people who once questioned your worth will be speechless when they see what God is doing in your life. The ones who tried to hold you back will have no choice but to watch you step into divine favor. But here's the most powerful part: you won't even need to defend yourself. Your transformation will be the proof. Some will try to come back into your life not because they truly care but because they are curious. They will want to know how you did it. How you went from overlooked to anointed. How you went from struggling to thriving. And your answer will be simple: God did it. No explanation needed. No arguments required. Because when God's hand is on you, his work speaks louder than any words ever could. And here's the thing: your transformation is not just about you. It is a testimony to others. There are people watching your journey right now, people who are struggling, people who feel like giving up. And when they see what God has done for you, it will spark something inside of them. Your life becomes proof that God is still in the business of miracles, still lifting the overlooked, still turning pain into power. But here's where it gets even deeper. This transformation is not just internal. It manifests physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And that is exactly what we are about to explore next. When God transforms you, the change is not just spiritual, it becomes visible. People may not have seen the battles you fought in private, but they will see the radiance of victory upon you. The burdens that once weighed you down will be lifted, and instead of exhaustion, you will carry an unshakable peace and confidence. This is what happens when the presence of God dwells in you. His power reflects through you. Look at Moses. When he descended from Mount Sinai after being in the presence of God, his face shone so brightly that people couldn't even look at him. Why? Because true transformation is impossible to hide. When God moves into your life, he leaves undeniable evidence. People around you will notice something different about you. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. And this renewal goes beyond physical appearance. It affects your entire being. Your mindset shifts from limitation to abundance. Your emotions are no longer ruled by fear, but by faith. The anxieties and doubts that once consumed you begin to lose their grip. What used to drain you no longer has power over you. Because when God dwells in you, his presence renews everything. Your strength, your clarity, your purpose. Think about this. Have you ever seen someone who went through a deep spiritual awakening? They don't just change internally, their entire energy shifts. Their posture changes, their expressions carry peace, their eyes hold a new fire. That's exactly what is happening to you now. You are stepping into a version of yourself that even you have never seen before. You are rising with a glow that only comes from being in alignment with God. But here's where it gets even more powerful. This renewal is not temporary. It is permanent. This is not a fleeting moment of motivation. It is a shift in identity. You are no longer who you were. You are walking in divine favor. And because of that, something even greater is coming. God is not just renewing you, he is positioning you for leadership. And that's exactly what we're about to uncover next. When God places his hand on you, he does not just transform you, he elevates you. This is why you've been through so much. This is why the process has been intense. Because God does not call people to small things. If you are being lifted, it's because he is positioning you for influence, authority, and impact. Look at Jesus, he never sought leadership, but wherever he went, people followed. Why? Because true leadership is not about a title, it's about presence. And when you carry the presence of God, you don't have to demand influence. People are drawn to you. You won't need to chase after opportunities, they will come looking for you. That is the mark of someone who has been transformed by God. And here's something most people don't realize: God's chosen leaders are not built in the spotlight. They are shaped in the wilderness. Moses spent years in isolation before leading a nation. David was trained in obscurity before he was crowned king. Joseph was refined in prison before he ruled in the palace. What if everything you have been through was not a setback, but a setup? What if the very moments that made you feel unseen were actually preparing you for visibility? The world is filled with people searching for direction, for clarity, for purpose. And God is raising you to be the answer to that search. This is why your words will carry weight. This is why your presence will shift rooms. Because God's power is working through you. The enemy tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you weren't enough. But he failed. And now you are walking into divine authority. But here's the truth: leadership comes with responsibility. You are not just being lifted for yourself. You are being lifted to lift others. The wisdom you've gained, the battles you've fought, the lessons you've learned, they are not just for you. They are for the people who are coming after you, the ones who need to see that transformation is possible. And this is why your journey is not ending, it is just beginning. Because now you are stepping into the most powerful season of your life. A new beginning where every struggle turns into purpose, and every setback becomes part of your divine assignment. And what's coming next will change everything. Everything you have been through, every struggle, every delay, every unanswered question, was leading to this moment. The pain you endured was not wasted. The tears you cried were not in vain. God was using every single experience to prepare you for something greater. And now that season of waiting is over. You are stepping into a new beginning, a divine acceleration, a life of purpose that has been waiting for you all along. When God opens a new chapter, He does not consult your past. He does not wait for people to approve. He does not need circumstances to be perfect. When He moves suddenly. And if you are sensing this shift, if you feel like something powerful is unfolding in your life, it's because it already is. The doors that were once closed are about to open. The things that seemed impossible are about to fall into place. Because when God declares a new season, no force in the universe can stop it. Look at Abraham. When God called him, He didn't give him all the details. He simply said, "Go." And as Abraham stepped forward, blessings followed. That is the nature of divine beginnings. God is not waiting for you to have it all figured out. He is asking you to trust. To take the first step even when you can't see the whole path. Because the moment you move, God moves with you. This is the moment where fear must bow. The old cycles are breaking. The limitations are dissolving. The patterns of the past no longer define you. You are walking into a life that is aligned with your divine calling. No more hesitation. No more doubt. The time for breakthrough is now. This is the moment where you stop looking back and step fully into the power that God has placed inside of you. And here's the most powerful part: this new beginning is not just for you. The people connected to you, the ones who are watching your journey, the ones who need hope, they will see this transformation and be changed by it. Your obedience will unlock doors not just for yourself, but for generations to come. And here's the truth: this is only the beginning. Because what happens next will confirm that this new season is not just a possibility, it is your divine reality. And what I'm about to share will leave no doubt. Stay with me because this next moment will change everything. Chosen one, this is it. The moment where everything shifts. The moment where the battle ends and the breakthrough begins. God is not just calling you, He is commanding you. His presence is not waiting at a distance. It is knocking at the door of your life right now. And this is the moment where you decide, will you open the door? Everything you have faced, the struggles, the rejections, the moments of doubt, were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to awaken you, to prepare you, to strip away everything that was holding you back so that when this moment arrived, you would be ready to walk in divine power. And now that moment is here. No more hesitation. No more questioning. This is your confirmation. And here's the truth: the enemy has fought you so hard because he knew this day was coming. He knew that the moment you stepped into divine authority, his influence over your life would be broken forever. That's why the attacks were so relentless. That's why the doubts were so loud. But guess what? He failed. You are still here. You are still standing. And nothing can stop what God is about to do next. When God moves into your life, everything changes. You no longer beg for opportunities, you walk into them. You no longer pray from a place of desperation, you pray from a place of authority. You no longer wonder if you are chosen, you know you are chosen. And once you step into this power, the world will see the undeniable evidence of God's hand upon your life. But there is one final step, one final act of surrender. God is knocking, but will you open the door? Because once you say yes, everything changes. Forever. You were not called to live an ordinary life. You were not created to remain in the background, unsure of your purpose. God has chosen you. Not by chance. Not by mistake. But by divine design. And now the decision is in your hands. Will you step forward? Will you embrace the power that has been placed within you? This is your moment. This is not the time for hesitation. This is the time for action. The time to declare that you are ready. The time to step into who you were always meant to be. No more fear. No more doubt. Your past does not define you, your calling does. And if you have felt this shift inside of you, if this message has confirmed what you already knew deep within, then this is your sign. It's time to rise. So now I ask you, are you ready? Ready to walk in divine authority? Ready to let go of the past and embrace your transformation? Ready to live as the powerful chosen leader that you were created to be? Because once you say yes to God, everything changes. And trust me, you will never want to go back to the way things were. If this message has spoken to your spirit, if you feel this shift inside of you, I want you to do two things. First, comment "I am chosen" below. Declare it, own it, step into it. And second, make sure you are subscribed, because this is just the beginning. There is more revelation, more wisdom, more divine empowerment coming your way, and you don't want to miss what God is about to do next. Chosen one, this is your moment. Trust it. Step into it. Your destiny awaits.